What's going on, Guardians? So recently, well, not super recently, but a while ago, I had a video on the Suros Regime. And that video actually did really well. A lot of people seem to really like it. And this is one of my favorite weapons in Destiny history. I say that because this weapon was also in Destiny 1. But auto rifles recently got a buff across the board to their stability. So I decided to take Suros out again and just see how it felt. And I was really pleased. It actually did really well. And also, we're going to get to the gameplay here in a second, but after that, stick around because we'll talk a little bit about Suros, in particular, how we could make it more relevant in the current meta, the current sandbox. And I think the key to that is changing up the catalyst. We'll talk about that as well. You can see my stats and armor here, my weapons. We're using good old Hammerhead. And then I finally got another Adept Mindbenders. I'm still grinding these out, but I did finally get one with Threat Detector. And this video, I think, actually does a pretty decent job of showcasing that Mindbenders, it's not what it once was, to be sure, but it's still a very good shotgun. We get some pretty interesting kills with it a couple of times in the video. So anyway, well, I should mention as well, we will have another follow-up video on this here soon, now that we're starting to get some better rolls on it. But we're going to go ahead and jump in the gameplay, and let's get into it. All right, let's see what we can do here. Where's he hiding back there? There we go. Nice, teammate got him. Looks like we have some people pushing for... Oh, we're losing C. That's not great. With how fast that flag is being taken, I actually think we might have potentially more than one person on it. You're going to take C as well, doing my favorite part of Control these days, and that is solo captain flags. Ooh, Mindbenders. Mindbenders is better than people give it credit for. I don't care what anyone says. Okay, we're taking A. I think that will probably... We might have some people circle around from B. Question is if they're going to go for A or C. There's quite a few people over there. We don't want to dive too deep here and bite off more than we can chew. Ah, no. Couldn't quite get Mindbenders out in time. That's why we really like Threat Detector, like I said, is fine. But we really needed, like, Surplus or Elemental Capacitor on it. Oh. Lag. Jeez. Okay, we're taking B. That's good, because enemy team got A. Oh shit, I just realized I think I have dialogue turned off from another one of my videos. I was wondering why I didn't hear Shax call that out. Don't really want to get into a drawn-out, long-range gunfight with Suros either, though. Oh. I actually have no idea how many kills I got with that. Might have been 3. There were 2 people over here. And the spawns are kind of all over the place right now. Let's go, Suros. 10 streak. Hopefully he's not coming for me. Oh, he totally is. Ah, no. You gotta love the solo supers, right? Actually, let's turn up. This is actually driving me nuts now. Yeah. Where is this guy? Okay, for some reason, none of those shots registered. That was weird. Literally just got, like, what, 12 ghost pellets there? Jesus. He was well within one-shot kill range. Yeah, when Suros actually gets, like, spun up completely, it's pretty brutal. I actually think the worst part of Suros was just the incredibly disappointing catalyst. So Suros has basically, it spins up in 3 different phases. And I actually think, what probably, oh, he died to the knife, that's actually really funny. I actually think what would have made it better is, I think it spins up twice. I think on the first one, it spins up to something like, we're getting a little too deep in here. There's enemies all over the place. Nice. But I think what would have made it better is if, like, it spins up to, I want to say, like, 700, 720, something like that, and then it kicks up again. Oh, Lord, no time. To, I can't remember exactly, but it's something, no, still died. Something pretty substantial, like 780 or something like that. I don't think it's quite 800, but it's up there. And I think what would have made the catalyst actually a lot better is either if they had made it so that, ooh, I'll take that. But if they made us that either when it spins up the first time, it just goes directly to that, like, 780 or whatever the number is, instead of having to go through that second phase. Or, alternatively, it just spins up faster. Oh my lord. This is the phase of most Crucible matches that I kind of hate, where for a couple minutes at least it just kind of becomes a super fest. Oh lord, this is way closer than it really needs to be. Oh, teammate got another well up there, that's nice. Yeah, we're probably going to lose this. Maybe. There we go. Awesome. Okay. Close game. Holy shit. Oh, he would have been dead. Let's see how we did. Suros did feel really good. This isn't really the most ideal map for it. But yeah, that's pretty good. So let's talk about Suros a little bit then. Okay, so let's talk about Suros. So first off, at its base, I looked it up. At its base, it's 600 RPM. When it spins up, again, it spins up twice. And basically at the first time when the fire rate increases, it goes to 720 rounds per minute, and then it increases again all the way up to 900 rounds per minute, which is kind of nuts. So here's the thing. The biggest issue with Suros was the catalyst, really. It was a pretty disappointing catalyst. Basically, I believe the catalyst does bring your recoil direction up to 100, which is nice. But really all that it does is, With Suros, every time you get a kill, you have a chance for it to regen your health. Basically, the catalyst, all it really does is increase that chance. The problem is that it doesn't seem to happen enough that I think it's really super useful. And quite frankly, if you want a weapon that will regen your health, especially if you're on controller, you would probably be better off going with Crimson, because Crimson will regen your health completely every single time you get a kill. It's not a chance thing. It's every time you get a kill, your health just refills, which is really nice. So Suros does feel good, especially since the buff that Otto's got recently. But I think it could probably still do with some tuning. So the first thing that I would do is we have two different firing modes with Suros Regime. You have spinning up, which is what we were using. Holding down the trigger increases the rate of fire. And then we have dual speed receiver. When aiming down sights, weapon rate of fire slows while weapon damage increases. So with dual speed receiver, when you aim down sights, the fire rate drops to, I think it's 360. And when you're firing from the hip, you will still do the 600. Of course, the damage goes up pretty significantly, and if you want to see a video on that, I did another video on Suros Regime a while back using the dual speed receiver, so you can go take a look at that if you're wondering about that. And it did really well in that mode too. But I think if we wanted to make Suros more relevant in the current meta, first thing is this needs to change so that you don't have to open the weapon page here to actually swap between them. They need to make it like it is on, say hard light, where you can just hold down the reload button to change the element of the weapon. Same thing with Dead Messenger. You hold down the button and it will change the element of the weapon. What they need to do with this is, first off on this, I would make it so that when you hold down the reload button, you can just swap between these two firing modes on the fly. That would be the first thing I would do. It would just make the weapon a lot more versatile depending on how you wanted to use it at that current point in time. The next thing is I would probably, like we discussed, I would probably either A, increase how quickly the weapon spins up, going to each of those, increased rates of fire. Basically, the way it does it right now is with every 12 bullets, it increases its fire rate. I would probably drop that down to maybe 8 or 9 bullets for that to increase, because we don't want to have it increase too fast, or else this weapon could actually, if they're not careful with it, this weapon is kind of in a place with kind of like Ace of Spades, not to the same degree, but where if it gets overbuffed by a little too much, then this weapon could potentially just become completely broken. But if you just decreased the amount of time it takes to spin up a little bit, I think that would be a really nice feature. Or alternatively, maybe you extend the amount of time it takes to spin up just slightly, maybe up to like 14 bullets or something. But then when you do, it immediately jumps up to that 900 RPM. Something like that, just to make the weapon a little bit more relevant. That being said, it does still feel really nice, and I don't know what it is about Suros, because, we have pretty limited range here. I think it's just because really most of the other stats that are important, like stability, handling, all that, are really good. But this is a weapon that I feel generally very comfortable playing a bit more aggressively with in the current meta. And it's nice because it seems like sometimes it kind of takes people off guard a little bit. I think maybe, especially on spinning up, when you do get that increased rate of fire, it kind of surprises people. I think that's part of the reason it feels so good. Is it as necessarily viable as, say, pulse rifles or sidearms or even submachine guns? I don't know. I think it can keep up. I don't think it's necessarily on par or better than those options, but it does still feel really, really good. Especially with the stability buff we got, it does feel a bit more consistent. So if you have this weapon, if it's just been sitting in your vault, I would say pull it out, give it a second chance. It does feel really nice right now. But that's all for me for now, Guardians. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please let me know in the comments. Don't forget to leave me a like and a subscribe, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace.